so nice to see you. I am Delia, and welcome to episode 2 of our new segment, Delia Presents the Flaneur, a poetical exploration of the geographical urban landscape.
This week's episode is featuring Fort Tryon Park, the pinnacle of the experience of nature in Upper Manhattan, where artists and civilians alike can go to bask in the glory of nature in the middle of the urban setting.
Oh, solitude! If I must with thee dwell, let it not be among the jumbled heap of murky buildings. Climb with me the steep, nature's observatory, whence the dell, the flowery slopes, its river's crystal swell, may seem a span. Let me thy vigils keep, mongst boughs pavilioned, where the deer's swift leap startles the wild bee from the foxglove bell. Isn't that very nice? That's one of my very favourites, you know. That is a poem by John Keats, in which he is talking about, and this is very important, I think, as a city dweller, as a long-time city dweller, you know, what he's talking about is solitude in terms of my being alone and the different qualities of my being by myself and what they might mean for me. For example, if I'm going to be alone in solitude, right, or just alone, let's say, and I'm going to be in my New York apartment, right, and stay there, how that might feel and what that might do for me as a creative artist. For example, because I, Delia, am a Shakespeare professional and theatre artist, right? If I want to enhance my creativity, is it better for me to stay here, or should I go out into a place where I might experience solitude, but in something that's more stimulating? And what Keats is saying is that nature, especially when I have climbing to the top of a place to see a beautiful view, that stimulates something inside of me, where I become inspired, where my creativity is switched on in a way, and I experience myself alone and yet not alone, enhanced energetically, spiritually, psychologically by my surroundings. And as a citizen of New York, Fort Tryon Park in Washington Heights provides me with this kind of experience, even being inside an urban setting. It is technically in Manhattan, and yet when one climbs to the beautiful vistas and looks out on the Hudson River and the Palisades, one feels oneself to be in nature. It's quiet. The temperature there is always somehow just right for thinking and creating something beautiful artistically, you know what I mean? And it's just a wondrous place to go for a walk or to sit down on a bench and to see what one sees, being there as an observer, as a practicing contemporary flaneur, if you will. In addition to many wonderful walking paths and gardens with many varieties of flowers, Fort Tryon Park boasts spectacular views of the Hudson River and the Palisades located across the way. Springtime in Fort Tryon Park boasts so many lovely flowers, such delicious smells, one might forget that one is located inside of a large American city.
one can lose oneself strolling in the beautiful architecture of Fort Tryon Park that seems to harken back to the days of old. A simpler, more innocent time in which convenience took a back seat to architectural splendour and the enjoyment of the eye of the viewer. And yet the telltale signs of urban life are never far away.
Spending too much time in an urban setting can lead someone to feel hemmed in, an underdog in his or her own life. However, one may need only climb up to a great height to begin to experience a wild freedom and opening in the mind. One can begin to experience oneself as being a visionary, someone who sees a larger world and has a greater idea for the potential of mankind now and into the future. And let us not underestimate how relaxing it can be and how stimulating for the psyche and for one's creativity just to be near a large body of water. A park can provide a much-needed setting in which one can feel oneself to be truly in communion with nature. When speaking to solitude, Keats goes on to say, "But though I'll gladly trace these scenes with thee," meaning solitude, "yet the sweet converse of an innocent mind, whose words are images of thoughts refined, is my soul's pleasure. And it sure must be almost the highest bliss of humankind, when to thy haunts two kindred spirits flee." What is a thing of beauty after all, without someone to share it with? And so we begin to see a glimpse of the enormous, bountiful gift that the citizens and visitors of New York City are given in Fort Tryon Park. Its beautiful vistas and its natural settings that brings us back, even in the midst of all the urban chaos, to the very beautiful fact that we as human beings are part of a larger communion energy of nature, that we are in fact God's creatures, and that the imagination is boundless, that the mind can be opened, and that we, alone or with a very close loved one, can experience quiet and solitude to enhance our creativity, even here in the midst of one of the most populated urban cities in the world. Isn't it miraculous? Well, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for this segment of the Flaneur on Delia Presents, deliapresents.blogspot.com. I'll see you next week. Okay, I'll see you. Bye-bye now. Okay.